If you're new in town or just new to this actual play thing, you're tuning in to Law by Night Productions. Together, alongside a culturally diverse and queer cast, Law by Night Production aims to bring fun actual plays varying mood, tone, and wholesome chillaxed fun with none of the pretentious perfectional bollocks. In this episode, you're listening to Turn to Stone, an all-Gargoyle Vampire the Masquerade Oneshot using 5th edition rules and the V5 Gargoyles Homebrew by Tyler Rose. The full cast will be revealed at the end of the episode. This actual play contains themes of dark personal horror, excessively bad language, and violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised. And with that out of the way, are we sitting comfortably? Good. Then let's begin. In an age almost forgotten by man, woman, and all manner of mortal persons in between, lived a mage, a wicked sorceress by the name of Fastania. She, like so many of her ilk, was a curious critter. She, unlike the other mages, was so very young. The divide made it very difficult for her to make friends and her fellow magi, and they only saw her as a strange curiosity. The judgmental glares from her peers weighed her down, making poor Fastania feel very, very lonely. Instead, she turned to make her own friends. Literally, she created companions and several constructs, keeping them as pets. One of these mages, by the name of Goratrix, found one of Fastania's creatures and saw her as something of an experiment herself. As part of his own power-hungry schemes, he would have her embraced into the then-new clan of vampires, Clan Tremere. He would have her create bigger, better, stronger constructs to fight their new enemies, Clan Tzimitzi. The perfected version of these objective monstrosities are known as gargoyles, winged beasts of flesh, blood, and stone with a gruesome restart on life. Whilst most warlocks treated these creations as mindless slaves, Fastania bathed them in unwavering love, and they responded to her as baby chicks to their mother. She, the mistress and mother of gargoyles, would lead a revolt against her superiors, kick-starting their eventual freedom in kindred society. This, as previously mentioned, was a very long time ago. So long, in fact, most have forgotten about the gargoyles. Some remember, of course. Some kindred are very good at remembering, but I'm sure no one so vindictive would appear tonight. Right? Anyway, our story tonight focuses on 3 who don't remember the hardships of their progenitors, but are no stranger to being ostracized by their fleshy cousins. 3 gargoyles of varying circumstances, brought together by the common goal of freedom. By this definition in kindred society, they are anarch. No one calls them anarch, and they are not treated as such. So are they really anarch? In their search for the right to be free, these 3 are brought to the ruined domain of London. For most, this is a strange return home. For some, it is a frightening trip to a previously forbidden land. In 2012, the kindred population was totally obliterated by a collection of governmental and religious bodies collectively known to the vampires as the Second Inquisition. Under the guise of Operation Antigen, they reshaped kindred society in the England's capital. There is no prince, no primogen, no Elysium. Electronic communication is forbidden, and the use of public transport is a death wish. But that was 10 years ago. Surely things have gone a little better. Right? Right? Well, let's find out. It is about 11 p.m, and the 3 of you have been up for about 3-ish hours going about your nightly business. And I require you all to roll 1d4.
Oh boy, what could this particular mystery be about? That would be a 2 on my roll.
That's a 1.
I have a 4.
Well, you 3 have got to mark that down in your hunger tracker because that's your hunger at the moment.
Oh boy.
Oh no! Oh god.
That's a hell of a way to kick off the night.
Yes. And on that dramatic note, why don't we start with Iggy? What does Iggy look like?
Iggy is a small and fairly angular gargoyle. They are about 5'2", and everything about them is very sharp. Their skin is the color of sandstone, kind of a tannish thing, and they have small, thorny protrusions sticking out from their body and long, curved horns coming back from their head. Their eyes are black in the sclera, but then bright orange in the pupils.
Very sinister. Are they just as sinister on the outside as they are on the inside?
Absolutely not. No, they are a mess. They are a neurotic, nervous, terrified mess.
That's rather unfortunate. And at level 4 hunger as well. That beast inside of you is getting very, very impatient. We are hungry. Look around you. Kind, these animals, wretched creatures, feed, satiate our thirst.
I'm really hungry. I'm going to go up to the pigeon place and grab some pigeons. I'll be back in a little bit. Bye.
And how is it that you would tend to do this? Was it a climbing venture? Or you saw?
I imagine the area where they keep the pigeons is on the rooftop. So they would go probably up by a ladder.
Right. So up this rickety little ladder you go. It sways a little bit. It's not entirely stable. But you just see or hear just a sort of nest of pigeons just minding their own business.
Iggy is going to kind of pause for a moment, compose themselves a little bit, and then slowly move in towards the pigeons and try to stand among them.
Stand among them, as in literally standing in front of them, or you're going to sneak behind them, or
kind of move into like the center of where they're gathered slowly.
Could you do for me I suppose a Dex and Animal Ken? Your specialty might apply here.
That's not great. That's one success.
One success. There's probably about 5 pigeons just sitting in this sort of like trashy nest at the top of this sort of factory, and they have all just flown up into the air. Now, because I'm a generous ST, I'm going to ask you to play a little game with me. In my hand, I hold a black D10. I'm going to ask you for odds or evens, and so if it's an odd number and you say odd, then fate will be in your favour. If not, we'll see what happens. So odds or evens?
Odds, because I am odd.
As is the dice. Fortunately, these windows in this sort of derelict factory are closed, but these pigeons are sort of flying around everywhere. And they're going to be quite difficult to catch. Stop playing games and satiate the thirst! I swear it will be the death of us both!
Iggy is almost shaking at this point, and there's enough space in here that they can run, I imagine.
Yes.
So they run as fast as they can and put their wings out to catch the air so they can take off.
Mm-hmm.
And then start kind of flying up towards where the pigeons are and just snatching at them as best as they can, trying to just grab whatever they can from these birds.
That would be a Dex and Athletics, please. And I think I'll do a very basic roll to see a fight against pigeons, I guess.
That is 4 successes.
4 successes. You do manage, despite how frantic it is and these pigeons cooing loudly, I suppose cooing's the wrong word here, but you do manage to snatch a couple of pigeons, that one in each hand, that are fighting furiously to get out of your rocky grip.
As soon as Iggy has these pigeons in their grip, they just tear into them, literally bite their heads off and just drink as much as they can, basically stuffing their face with feathers to devour and letting the remnants drop through their fingers to the floor.
As you do this and you take in their vitae, their life essence, it's not the most pleasant thing in the world. You know that there are more nicer things out there to devour them, but through your own moral code, you know that those other things are not as good. And you hear your beast snarl and moan as it knows you know better, but it reserves itself, and that goes down to 3 hunger. So it's still there, but it's not as aggressive as it was before.
Iggy flies around this area, just kind of pacing, basically, like a person would pace a space on the ground. They pace by flying, just chiding at their hunger over and over again. You know, we can't go and hunt people. That's how they found us last time. They're going to find us again if we go near people. We can't go near people. We have to deal with this. So this is what we get. This is what we get. We get birds. We get birds and we get rats and we don't get people, dummy.
It doesn't shout at you, but it growls. Kind of like a provoked animal in a cage. The cage of your ribcage just so close, but yet so far. Meanwhile, not that far away, what would Cybele be doing? Furthermore, would you be watching and witnessing this display of nervous feeding?
Being the eldest of this flock and a technical den mother, I would of course be alarmed at the frantic flapping of wings. Are we being attacked? Is something happened to my child? I would ascend that creaky ladder as well, come merging from my den filled with old tomes and questionable stains. Is it blood? Is it ink? Could be either. And as I slowly rise up, I'll just give a soft cry of, Igneous, are you all right?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Everything's totally fine up here. I'm just eating. I'm just really, really hungry right now. You know, I haven't eaten in a little bit and I'm really, really hungry. And these birds just keep moving too fast for me to catch them.
I certainly don't understand why my child would choose such a food source when there's far more viable vita out there, but I can hear the edge of the beast on their voice, and I will fully emerge from the ladder, my very slender, small frame just squeezing through. When you think of hellish demons, Cybele is what comes to mind. She is slate-colored. She's got this long, inky black hair and wide animal-like eyes. You wouldn't think that she was particularly educated, but underneath all that scraggly, filthy darkness is a devious mind. But regardless, there is a child here to care for. I see. Is there any assistance you need? I could help you down to the friary if your hunger exceeds a certain level.
If you can grab any of the birds down there, if any of them land, if you can grab them, that would be really helpful, because they're just keep getting out of my grasp. And there's this way that Iggy is moving. It just feels off kilter. They occasionally kind of like zigzag through the air, and their wings do like little double flaps, and they keep moving a little bit oddly, trying to. Maybe it's that they're trying to send the birds off center so they can't predict where they're going to move next. Or maybe it's that they're just acting strangely because they're too hungry. It's hard to say which.
The beast's influence is strange indeed, but I would assist in this bird-catching manner.
So you wish to take flight also and see what you can snatch?
Precisely.
Well, there's 3 birds left because Iggy managed to find 2, so a similar roll for you is required, unless there's a roll needed for you to take flight first, which I should have asked for the previous instance.
Nope.
All right.
That would be 1 success on my part. Not exactly a very agile sort, you see.
In your old age, shall we say, you were not the most agile gargoyle in the gaggle or flock, whatever the word you wish to use. You are able to pick off one that's not as flying as frequently, and just leaving the 2 that are flying around, but you have one particularly fat pigeon that's snatched in the air.
I'm used to my prey being more willing and less feathery. But once I have this particularly plump pigeon in my claw, I extend it over to Igneous. Here, darling.
Igneous accepts the pigeon offered in their direction, and they descend down to the floor, letting their wings fold over their back and just devour this last creature, trying to get every drop of blood, basically wringing it in their hands and tilting their head back, trying to just swallow everything they can from it.
Like a feathery capricum.
No.
Precisely.
It doesn't really do much to shift your hunger, unfortunately. There's just not much there. It's just a fat pigeon. Your hand is probably bigger than the thing is. But, Pebble, you're sort of hanging around on the ground level as this is going on. How are you responding to all of this?
I think I'm hearing what they're saying, and I'm already partway up, scrabbling up the ladder, just excited to be involved. And the moment I see that we're catching pigeons, I'm like leaping into the air, wings flaring, with this sort of gleeful joy of being able to take flight. And I want to help with catching pigeons.
All right, there are 2 pigeons left now, so another Dex and Athletics, please.
Now this is what I call family bonding.
Hell yeah, pigeon catching.
Birds of a similar flock gather together.
The family that eats together stays together.
Hell yeah.
Aww.
Okay, so that's 2 successes.
Your frantic energy and your enthusiasm to help Mama and half brother, sibling. But you do manage to do it. It confuses them. It's just everything that's flying around. You do manage to find those final 2 pigeons, sort of holding one by the neck haphazardly and the other one by the feet. The one by the feet is sort of flapping about and just kind of squawking. The other one, obviously, you can't hear what it's doing because your hand is around its face.
There's kind of this whoop of glee as I catch them and then kind of swoop back in and slightly clumsily land on the ground. I'm still not quite used to the wings yet, but I'm getting there. And just excitedly extend both hands towards Iggy, looking very pleased with myself.
Iggy looks absolutely thrilled and literally does a little shimmy kind of dance in excitement at getting the last 2 birds that were here, takes the one that was extended and puts it to their mouth and starts to eat, then pauses for a moment and looks back over and says, do you want the last one? You can have it if you want.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. And then they take the other one and are basically double fisting them at this point, just Capri Sun style, head tilted back, double fisting pigeons.
I'm very glad you ended that sentence the way that you did, because I had a very different image in my head.
What have I wrought upon this night?
It's not your fault.
Regardless, I'm just happy that my child there get along, and we've developed such a strong bond. Definitely too thin for my likes, but pigeon blood binds our family together, it seems.
So whilst you slake that other bit of hunger, taking it down to 2, what does an enthusiastic and happy Pebble look like?
So Pebble is about 6'2", so 188 centimeters. They have quite a lithe, athletic build. They have a sort of grayish, sort of granite color, stony skin, which is completely devoid of hair, as well as very large, entirely black eyes and these massive bat-like ears and wings. Their face is quite sharp and angular with very prominent brow and cheekbones, but at the moment it's twisted in this very chipper grin.
Well, good for them. There's a trio of wacky individuals. And Cybele, whilst this exchange is happening, like, do you come down? Do you watch from above? What is she up to?
I watch from above, as joyful it is to watch my flock play together, play with their food, so to speak. I do need to keep vigilant, as secluded as we are in our current haven, the previous few nights have been nerve-wracking, and I don't want anyone who might do us harm to spot us. So while pigeons are exchanged below, I, have one ear turned towards the family and the other towards the world beyond us.
Interesting. And to that end, wits and awareness, please.
Can do. 3 successes on my part.
If you're sort of watching, seeing the happy childer just exchanging pigeons and this sort of this double fisting, to use the quote, of just squirting guts, gauze, and a little bit of bone out. From the corner of your eye, you see of blue flashing, and you sort of turn and coming up on this path to this factory that you have found yourself in are 3 police cars.
Immediately, Cybele's eyes just go wide. And she lifts up a hand and makes a small chitter with her mouth. Silence. Kyne on the ground below.
Iggy goes dead quiet and almost as a reflex immediately activates Skin of the Chameleon and kind of moves towards the wall slowly to blend in to the scenery.
I see Iggy doing this and sort of copy the behavior. I'm still not entirely used to abilities and powers yet, but I dislike police at the best of times.
So with varying degrees of, what's the word? Acceptance, I say. You both fade into the environment around you. One a pillar, one a wall, whatever. And Cybele, how is it that you deal with this situation?
As shadowy as I am, I do believe that a winged, tailed monstrosity would be spotted almost immediately. So I do activate Skin of the Chameleon, but instead of hiding, I take a point of reconnaissance, you could say, as I watch these mortals enter in their cars. If they're entering the factory, good. We're going to need to silence them, or we are going to need a point of escape. It might just be a case of them being outside, but regardless, I cannot let them leave my gaze so long as my flock remains in my home.
So the idea is that you're facing the window as you do this at the moment?
Yes.
Cool. Now, as you look out into the window, you see a river that flows down the side. You see adjacent buildings, sort of the lights of the amber night just bouncing off the water surface, and obviously there's these 3 police cars. The sirens, there are no sirens, this is the lights are flashing, and you see some people come out of them. They do not appear to be armed. Some of them get up and they begin to scout the environment, but 3 individuals, 2 taller than one of them, approaches towards this factory that you're in, and as they get closer to the building, you can't see where they come in, but you all hear these doors, these metal doors, just rise up forcibly. Iggy and Pebble, you see these 3 individuals that walk in. They're 3 police officers, 2 of them are in uniform, sort of the infamous, I guess, black and white attire. One of them's wearing a hat, one of them's bald. They're not armed. They don't have any weapons. You don't see them. They've got a baton by their side, but they're not carrying guns, so that's easy to deal with. The one in the front, however, is a shorter woman of mixed race with sort of a ponytail just stretched back. Like if it was any tight, it would probably take off her scalp. And she's wearing a leather jacket, black jeans. She looks very serious, just scouting the area. And there's a conversation that happens between them. Like the bald one sort of leans forward. What is it that we're looking for? Just anything out of the ordinary. There's some people saying there's some weird noises coming here, like hooligans that dress in place. Just have a look around. Like Terry, go over there. Pete, over there. I'll just keep watch here. And she stands there with her hands towards her side. One police officer walks off to the left somewhere into a different room. Another one walks out into the other room to the right. She looks around to make sure that they've gone. And then she'll say, I don't know who or what you are, but we know you're here. And particularly what you are. At least I do.
I turn and look at the others.
The moment she says, I know what you are, every alarm bell is ringing off in my head. This is Second Inquisition. Has to be. I look towards where the others disappeared. This mission has just gone from sneak out quietly to we need to kill this woman. Or at the very least, silence her. And from the rafter from where I'm perched, I'm watching her movements. How close she is to my child there? How close is she to them?
I would say that she's probably a few feet away from them. She doesn't look aggressive. She's not holding like a hand or weapon. She looks more annoyed than she is. And as sort of you're like looking around to see what she's doing, this woman sighs loudly. You're on my boss's turf. I can't say much more than that until you show yourself.
Oh, A ghoul. And with that, I think with a bit of theatrical flair, I'm old. I enjoy making a show of myself for kind. Cybele will glide down from where she was, revealing herself in her full, slate-colored, winged glory.
Could you roll for me charisma and performance as you're making a bit of a show of this?
Can do.
Our mom's so cool.
Badass mama.
Hell yeah.
Aw, love my kids. And that would be 4 successes.
4 successes. Well, how exactly are you descending onto them, your wings expanding and revealing yourself?
Cybele is not a particularly large kindred. She is bony, she is small, even in the embrace. She is thinner than she normally would be. But she lacks 4 in size. She makes up 4 in wingspan. And as she peels from the wall, the skin of the chameleon fading, and that dark-colored slate is revealed, and these wide blue eyes are looking down at her. She spreads her wings both out and says, "To whose turf do we owe exactly? Last I checked, there wasn't a prince." And she'll spread her wings again and leap down so that she's facing this woman. Or looking up at her, rather. She isn't exactly a very tall gargoyle.
This woman sort of looked at this display, this majestic display, which with anybody else it might have gotten a decent reaction, but she looks more annoyed, like more so the fact that you're not treating this as the way that she wants you to. And it's just, impressive. Yeah, you're right, that there's no prince here, not since freaking what's her face. No, the factories here is owned by and she sort of leans forward, Baron of Hackney.
Baron of Hackney? No, when I looked into this area for myself and my flock, we didn't hear of any Baron. And at the mention of her flock, she'll kind of just tilt her head towards where the others were hidden, as if like, "Come out now, children. We're greeting company."
Upon seeing that, sort of almost scuttling on all fours, Pebble sort of creeps over, dropping skin at the chameleon, looking nervous and wary and distrustful of this new woman who's come in with police, but will come up to be beside Cybele.
Iggy does not actually drop skin of the chameleon, but very slowly starts kind of creeping towards them, definitely deliberately moving in that direction, but moving slowly enough that they can maintain their disguise and camouflage and kind of keep out of sight.
Is a roll required for that? Or is it just providing you move slowly, you don't?
I can keep it up as long as I move slowly, but someone can detect it using wits and awareness versus wits and stealth.
All right. Well, this woman doesn't seem to... There wasn't a vocal cue from Cybele that there was more than one gargoyle, so I should be generous and say that she doesn't suspect another one to appear. But the woman is looking at Pebble, just sort of, like it's just like someone's pet dog. Like she wasn't too surprised. Right, he was right. The gargoyles here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who you asked, but Tyrone's had this place for ages, and you're not exactly the most subtle of people here, and he wants a word with you.
I must admit, I'm rather shocked that he wouldn't have us kicked out immediately, being the flying masquerade violations that we are. But certainly, we can speak with him.
I mean, we're anarchs in it. I mean, it's what we do. Like, I mean, thank you, by the way, for not trying to eat me like the last person I did this to. Yeah, so if I don't know how many you are, I'm told there's more than one of you, so that's the other one. She sort of gives like a lazy wave to Pebble, not really looking at them. But I mean, I'll get rid of my boys. We can head over now.
Would you prefer us to join you in your vehicles, or would you rather us provide our own transport? And as Cybele says that, she kind of pumps her wings just a little bit.
I mean, if you're able to either make yourself disappear, or I mean, and she leans forward again. I know some of you can like make yourself look like other people, and as she's saying that, somebody calls back, "Can't find anything here, boss. Should we?" "No, Pete, just keep looking." "All right." I mean, if you can make yourself a little less weird, and she sort of does the speech marks gesture, then sure, that, or I can give you dressed to the Wonky Donkey. I mean,
On the cue of her saying, look a little less weird, letting the camouflage blur a little as it would from moving more quickly, moves up behind the woman and drops it. Weird. Who's weird? We're not weird.
she jumps and sort of startles forward like, Jesus shitting Christ. Is this it? And she looks at you, Cybele, as she says, is this everyone?
Last I checked, yes. Admittedly, I might need to do a count again. You know us gargoyles. Travel in groups.
You know, this is no laughing matter. If there's more of you, we need to... And a voice in the other direction calls, you're right, bastard. Sorry, there's the freaking rat here. Just, ew, gross. All right. And he carries on looking elsewhere. So is this it? She asks again.
Realizing that she's not going to play into my humor, Cybele's cheeky smile falls, and she says, yes, that would be all of them.
Right. So, matter of hand. You coming with me, or am I going to give you the address?
Igneous, Pebble, what do you think? Would you rather travel in this, nice woman's car, or would we rather use our own abilities?
A police car? No. I'm not going in one of those again.
Yeah. Well, we'll make our own way.
We'll fly.
Yeah.
I think the answer's rather universal. Where will we be flying to exactly?
You'll be going to his my boss's club, the Wonky Donkey. It was a pub once, but he's sort of expanding. There's going to be a renaming. It's a whole show and dance of it. So I should.
It's a pretty bad name.
Yeah, it's a bit. But, you know, I don't know what he's going to call. He's got a whole bunch of ideas going around. Anyway, I should probably introduce myself. I'm Inspector Mandy Evans. You probably worked out what I am exactly in connection to, you know, kindred spirits. And she pulls out a notepad, running out of things to say, and she sort of scribbles down the address, and she hands it to you, Cybele.
Of course, a pleasure to meet you, Inspector. And I trust that the Wonky Donkey has rooftop entrance. Otherwise, we'd be walking in with the kine. And I don't think either of us want that.
There's a roof for you to congregate. I'll let him know. I believe he's throwing some sort of party at the moment, so it might be a bit difficult pulling him away, but knowing what you are, I'm sure he'll be very excited. And she sounds quite sarcastic as she says that. Right, so if you want to make yourself scarce for a bit, I'm going to, you know, get my lot out of here.
Sounds wise.
And then she turns and points to this raised metal door, pointing towards one car that isn't a police car, but it's black, but it's got like one spinning light on it. Follow that car if you get lost. Otherwise, unless you've got a phone or something, you're on your own. And she calls out, all right, boys, there's fuck all here. We've been fucking misled by those fucking teens again. Everyone out. And she sort of gestures you to hide or fly or whatever.
I go straight up to the sort of roof area and just kind of cling there.
I take flight as well up to the roof.
Iggy follows.
Like a family of bats.
Yeah.
Like a family of bats, you ascend in these sort of rafters that you're able to stand on or perch over, I should say, as you are gargoyles. And you see the two police officers come back. One of them's covered in cobwebs, and you don't know why they're sort of arguing between themselves. And Mandy seems a bit annoying. She sort of like slaps them on the head, like childishly. But you see them leave the building, and if you were to turn and look at the windows, you would see that they and indeed the other police officers are beginning to return to their cars. The standard police cars are the first to leave, and the black car just lingers a little bit.
Cybele, what's a baron?
I just pinched the bridge of my nose and let out a sigh. Well, my child, barons are kindred who have a bit of arrogance and deem themselves lords of the land. Not too different from the Camarilla, as you imagine, but they're a bit less official, depending on who you ask.
Informal pricks?
Informal pricks, yes.
Right.
But they did say we could follow.
Still pricks, though.
I would agree. They did offer us their car to follow, so... How do you all feel for a night flight, my children?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, yeah, I guess so.
Seeing Pebble's eagerness, I kind of just reach out, flick their ear. It's so exciting to see them this excited to fly.
I'm practically bouncing.
Iggy does not look particularly thrilled. They're kind of like tapping their fingers together rhythmically, looking side to side like this doesn't seem great. This official person came out of nowhere and is demanding we show up at their place. I don't know what they're going to want from us. I don't like this, but I'm going to go. I have to. I don't like it though.
Mother knows best.
Seeing Iggy's anxiety, Pebble just kind of shoulders them playfully, and there's a sort of thump noise as the rocky skin sort of collides. Like, I'll be all right. We've got each other.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I guess we can. I guess we should get going now.
Yeah.
Yes, and with that, I'll take wing.
Yeah, Iggy will activate Unseen Passage, and that requires a rouse check.
So how's that hunger?
Totally fine. That pigeon blood was very satisfying.
That or the beast knows to time itself more appropriately. So, you had fashioned... There's one window that's deliberately left open for an ease of access. And I'm assuming you all ascend upwards?
Yes, we do.
Beautiful children of the night.
Yes. I'll activate Skin of the Chameleon as well. In fact, that'll need to be... That's only for slow movement?
Yeah, it's only for slow movement.
That's fine. Then I'll use Unseen Passage as well, which will be another rouse check.
Gosh, I'm just out here like raw dogging it.
Yeah.
I'm just a big owl, don't mind me.
I'm also good.
So, Cybele, I presume by your response that you are not going to disappear. You're going to...
I am not. Most mortals don't look up into the night sky, and if they do, I'm going to be very difficult to spot being as darkly colored as I am. Besides, who's going to believe some...
Odds or evens?
Oh no, Jack! Let's go odds.
All right. So, you all begin to make your ascent. You soar up with these great big flaps and leap and glide into the sky. I should probably describe a bit more where you are. As I hinted at moments ago, or rather Mandy did, you are in Hackney, a district in East London. It's about 4 miles, 6.4 kilometres northeast of Charing Cross and includes part of Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, and historically it was in the county of Middlesex. Hackney, whether you've been here for a long time or you just been around here for the last couple of weeks, Hackney is pretty rough. It's filled with poverty, inequality. The area itself is marked with about 4,000 reported crimes each week. The most common being violence and various stabbings. It's not a fantastic place. You leap from the safety of basically this abandoned factory. It's in Hackney Wick, southeast of Hackney. It's an old industrial building. It's mostly derelict, as you've wanted to make a big scene out of it. You fly. It's a cloudless night, and there's a certain chill that you only really get to experience when you're high in the sky, overlooking the kind, the mortal, who are simultaneously inferior and superior. And I'm just curious, as you're flying about and you're following Mama and police car simultaneously, what are your thoughts as you're taking flight and following this?
There's just excited joy, the rush, the freedom of flying. I don't see how this could ever get old. There's just this absolute exhilaration.
Iggy has this nervous pit in their stomach. They try to stay away from both kindred and kind. They try to kind of keep to themselves and keep to their flock after what happened to them those years ago, and being summoned to show up somewhere. They're immediately wondering, is this a trap? Am I going to get in more trouble? Were those police back there connected to the Second Inquisition? Are they going to hunt me again? Are they going to hurt me? And they're not overly pleased. They're trying to figure out how best to navigate the situation quickly and efficiently and without getting caught.
It's certainly not the first flight I've taken, but there's always that air of excitement, of freedom, liberty, as you spread your wings and look down upon the world below you. It's changed quite a bit since I took my first flight. There were actual automobiles, cars, and admittedly, I am not looking forward to speaking with an anarch. considering the experiences I've had with the movement. But regardless, if he claims domain, we must speak with him, and I will not let him or his make-believe court stand before me or my flock.
Intriguing thoughts on the three of you. You don't fly that far, I'd say about 5 or 10 minutes. You see this car, independently from the police cars, sort of park outside this building, sort of step outside. The gargoyles, I'm assuming the three of you are just sort of circling round, waiting for something to happen, and you see somebody exit the car. Hopefully it is Mandy. And you're just able just to see like a vague wave, just sort of like quite a lazily wave, directing you towards the back of this building.
Okay, so head in the direction we've been pointed.
Information.
Touchdown.
You'll go to the back. It looks there's this bit of crappy green, like there's had one too many people run or trample all over it. But you land, and sure enough, Mandy is there. And you land on the behind of it's a much nicer looking building. There is sort of loud, like clubbing music just going on, with a loud pounding through, and then these sort of lights that are just occasionally flashing from the top. And like Mandy sort of sighs again. Wait here, and she points to the door. Someone's going to come out that door. When they go out, you go up. And Mandy sort of leaves you and walks and goes in towards this door, leaving you alone for a couple of minutes. Is there anything that you do whilst you wait?
Cybele's going to cross her arms and furrow her brows. From a baron, this is the sort of treatment his guests get. Certainly, we provide a risk being seen in front of the kind, but if you're going to throw a party and then demand our presence here, you could at the very least see us through a better area to wait in.
Well, they're friends with police. What can you expect?
Fair enough. Pigs do make their company with others.
Iggy is taking a moment to kind of surveil this area that we've landed in, see if there's anything of interest back here, any doors or windows to be looked in.
Now, whether it's because that you're feeling anxious or despite it being lights coming out from the building or the sound of traffic nearby, you don't really find anything that's too useful. The windows are tiny. I mean, you're out in the open, you're being asked to go on the roof, so if worst case scenario, you could just take off, but you don't see anything that could be any more useful than that.
Fair enough. Then Iggy will start pacing back and forth while waiting.
On the ground or in the air?
On the ground.
So you sort of stand there, all of you mind your own business at varying levels of irritants and anxious.
Indignation.
1,000 pardons. As you're waiting with these various different emotions, somebody does come through the back of this door, and it's a woman who just sort of like practically just falls through the door. She doesn't land on her face. She's doing up this coat. She's sort of very like wobbly and wavy. She's basically pissed out her brains, and she sort of looks up at the three of you as like, the fuck?
Cosplay.
All right, have a good one. And she sort of stumbles off. You then hear a sharp whistle from above on the ceiling, just right, and it's Mandy again calling you up. And there are two main ways you can get up there. There is an emergency fire exit that she points to, like this ladder so you sort of can climb up, or you can fly up there. It's down to you.
I'll use the gifts of my blood. It's just a running leap, and I'll be up there with Mandy.
Flying seems like a better way to get up, so I will also take a quick run and head on up.
Absolutely. Like, God, well, I say God gave you gifts. Someone gave you some interesting gifts. So you ascend.
Wouldn't call them a god for sure.
You make your ascent, and it's quite a large, kind of a cozy looking outdoor space. Like, there's these sort of like little Japanese or Chinese, like the little paper lanterns that are going on, like the little stage lights just flashing about. You still hear the music that's going on. You've seen Mandy before, and sitting underneath this sort of this sort of like wooden shade that has been made, you see a guy with a very rectangular, angular face who wet hair just greased all the way back. He's got one shirt unbuttoned too many, and he's just sort of lounging there with his big old white smile. He's like, hey, hello there, cousins. Welcome to the Wonky Donkey. Come and give me a hug. And he sort of approaches you first, Cybele, and you notice that he stinks of frankincense.
God damn it! I have been in churches before, and perhaps due to something in my heritage, I cannot stand the smell nor the feeling, and Cybele is just reeling from this cousins to this crotch first presentation. She is just frozen to the spot like a statue.
And so he approaches you, and you're not going to move.
Not at all. She is shocked still.
At this display, I very much want to sort of slide in front and then just very enthusiastically grab the man and hug him, but very tightly.
Pebble, I love you.
Oh, I love a good hug, and he sort of squeezes you back.
Okay.
And he sort of like pats you on the back like you've been his best friend for years. Like, welcome. Hey! And he goes over to you and he sort of extends a hug. I'm not too sure if this is you acting or you're frozen.
No, I wasn't sure who was being addressed.
Oh, he's going over to you. He's going over for that hug.
Iggy kind of like takes a step back, isn't really sure what to make of this. This is way too friendly. Not what they were expecting at all. They very cautiously like reach forward to like pat him on the shoulder with one hand.
His arms are outstretched. He's got this man in his like late 20s, early 30s. He's going for this hug, and you just notice like that they're there. He kind of gets the hint. He puts his hand and he backs away. Sorry, man. You just told me that bitch shy. Sorry about that. You know, just a friendly so-and-so, innit? Yeah, Wonky Donkey. Name's Tyrone, fucking Baron of Hackney. What the fuck are you doing here?
Cybele's finally regained herself and just sort of shakes her head lightly. Apologies, Tyrone. I wasn't expecting such a welcome. Cousins, you said? To whose blood do you call your own?
I mean, Tremere, innit? I mean,
Iggy recoils, visibly recoils from this. Like, from cousins, they were expecting Gangrel or Nosferatu or even Zamisi, but, Tremere, they kind of take a step back like, no.
Oh, come on. We're not all that. Actually, most of us are a bunch of shits, but not all of us. Come on! He sort of steps back a little bit. He scratches his head and he scratches his lip a little bit. It's like, man, look, I'm trying here. Come on! But going back to what I was saying, the fuck are you doing here?
I do appreciate your efforts, but I must apologize for our sudden intrusion. You must understand that for our kind, it is incredibly difficult to find places where we can be subtle in our lives. I do apologize if we have intruded upon your lands, but we have sought sanctuary here. We were hoping that we were not noticed, but according to our inspector friend over here, it appears that we were not as subtle as we'd hoped.
As you're sort of delivering this, you sort of smirking, like just trying not to laugh. Bitch, what the fuck are you saying? This is 2022. Come on. What the fuck is this? And he sort of turns to the man. He's like, and she just sort of shrugs. She sort of shrugs. Has no idea what to say. What about you two, eh?
Cybele's grinding her teeth. Just no manners at all. The audacity.
The lion, the witch, the audacity of this bitch. Seeing this going poorly, I'll turn to him and just go, fucking hard to find a place, mate.
What's your excuse, Mr. Samir?
I mean, I just go where she goes, and he points over to Cybele.
He sort of stands and sort of scratches his head again and sort of scratches his lip again. He sort of paces a little bit. It's like, what a fucking weird ragtag bunch you are. So who are you with? You are the Anarchs, the Cam? Who the fuck are you with?
I think you would understand when I say that we have no connection to the Camarilla due to the ministrations of some members of your clan. But no, we don't count our allegiance upon anyone. We are a splinter off of the mother's flock.
Splinters of the mother... I don't know, that sounds like fucking cam speak to me. I'm not liking this.
To answer your question, no, we are not Camarilla.
Thank you. That's so fucking difficult. So all of you, right, you're on your own little thing.
Yeah.
This is our flock, yeah.
Right. So, no one sent you?
Nah.
No.
No.
Our allegiance is our own.
You do realise it's all a bit rude, right? Coming in here, just taking some place to your own. I mean, the least you fucking could have done was just pop in and say, "Hi, bunch of winged monstrosities here. Mind we just go and perk?" No, you didn't. You just came in and took the place as your own. I've been wanting to turn that into my fucking studio for some side projects. Like, come on. Rude.
I'm sorry, is there a Snapchat group or what? Like, how do we find out about this shit?
You go out and you meet people. Just...
How? Have you seen our faces?
I must agree with the child here. We aren't exactly presentable, Baron.
He sort of looks at Iggy again. Yeah, what's your excuse then?
My excuse, I just go where she goes. Like I said, I just go where she goes. She says that she can find places that are safe, and I just follow her because it's really dangerous to be on your own, you know, especially when you're a winged monstrosity.
Yes, Baron Tyrone. All actions and all responsibilities fall unto me, and if there is any punishment which you see fit to throw at us, let it be on my shoulders. They are my child there.
He sort of nods, pulling face then. All right, then. Well, it's on your shoulders, then. And can all of you now roll your willpower?
Oh boy. That's 3 successes from me.
1 success from Iggy.
2 successes for Cybele.
As Tyrone sort of utters these, I don't know, weird cat vomiting noises, something interesting happens. Iggy, immediately you fall on your hands and knees, and your face hits the ground. Whoever got 2 successes lands on their knees and hands, but their face isn't touching the ground. And whoever got 3 is sort of on their knees, and you're sort of struggling to move a little bit. Mandy sort of sighs like, "Ty, come on, is this? No, back off, right? You 3 are really beginning to wind me up, right? Look, it's quite clear that you think I'm one of them, you know, those poncy cam lot," and he's sort of walking around as he says that. But, yeah, 10-ish years ago, that was a lot more than that, actually. A couple hundred years ago, yeah, you're right, I fucking would have been, like, my side, total dickhead, mate, right, massive schlom. He was the one that came up with this interesting ritual, you know, the stuff I just went at you. You know, there was this whole gargoyle game, right, called the Sixpence Pinch or some bollocks like that, and they had a big old ass whooping from our clan, right? There was some ritual placed on like a load of Londoners, right? London gargoyles, right? You say these weird words, pick some hair from you, have a little munch on that, and this happens, and he gestures at you. I don't like the fact that you just come in here and take something that's not of yours. It was not too hard to find. I mean, my name's on the fucking door. There are fucking ghouls and whatnot everywhere. But nah, just come in here, just fucking have this. Nah, I don't like that. I don't like it, the fact that you just keep running around fucking about just because, those monstrosities. Nah, you fucking fight for your right to stay here, man. Come on. Look, I'll tell you what. I know what I said a minute ago about the factory. And I was prepared to have a little tussle with you about it, but I think we can come to some sort of agreement here because, you know, you don't look dangerous. Like, to be fair, I mean, I could probably take you all right now, but if you really want to stay here, you really want to have that little place yourself, I'll let you have it. I'll let you do whatever you want for it. You got to do me a little favour, you know. I see a little sort of an, fucking, what's the word? Fuck. A little business between us, you know, like, as cousins and family tend to do. What do you say?
Cybele, who is, you know, still on her hands and knees. I've heard Pebble refer to this thing called daddy issues. And from what he said about his sire, I think I can exploit this. With a very forced grin, we'll say, Cybele will look up at him and say, "Of course, I do apologize for any perceived hostility. You would understand from our clan's entwined history that we would be met with such unkindness, but truly you've welcomed us as family would, and we would be more than pleased to work with you, Baron Tyrone."
That would be a manipulation and subterfuge, please. Or charisma and subterfuge, I guess, whichever is higher.
3 successes.
3 successes, you say. You're sort of looking up to him the best of your ability, just putting on your best show, and he sort of cuts you off partway through because he kicks you in the head. I'm fucking fed up of you talking like it's a fucking 19th century, right? If you want to stay around here, you gotta fucking learn how to talk like all of us. You right? You fucking get me? Right. Good. You do your little linguistics thing later on. So you'll work for me, whether you like it or not. And he points somewhere. Battersea Power Station. Can't fucking miss it. Huge things. Usually it's closed off for events and it's not exactly the most safe place to be. And you've got like some fucking motorbike shit that happens there once a year. Some ill members of my clan, actually they're a bunch of cunts really. Ones that managed to get away with the whole fucking Operation Antigen shit 10 years ago when Queen Anne got the he sort of like does a hanging noose gesture. They're hiding out there and they're doing some weird shit. Now, I was going to send some boys of mine to do the little whack, but hey, my little agents have showed up, so you're going to do that for me. You're going to get rid of them. There's some prick there called Octavius. That's the fucker's name, Octavius. He swans around like a fucking purple rogue all the time. Go there, fuck him up, bring back his robe, and you can fucking have the little factory thing. How's that?
Iggy's face is pressed against the floor at this point. Are they able to speak very well with their mouth where it is?
I would say it's the best that you would be, but there is no magical effect that's preventing you from speaking.
Well, I guess we can do that for you. That'll work.
He sort of sees that, you all jittery and nervous, and he puts his foot on your head. He doesn't put it down, he's just resting the heel of his boot on there. Right, fucking answer. That's one. What about the other two?
Pebble's face has gone from the sort of joyous, excited to this look of pure rage, but seeing that they're agreeing, just sort of sharply nods their head in a sort of, they'll do it, but they're not happy about it.
I am glaring daggers at Tyrone, but through gritted stone teeth I say, very well, a boon for a boon. You have my flock's assistance.
Excellent work. Glad that we come to a happy little agreement. And all of you are able to stand up again.
Iggy jumps to their feet like a little bottle rocket went off. They were not happy about being stuck down there at all, and their wings flare out, and they kind of shake their entire body like they're shaking off the spell.
As Cybele rises, she cocks an eyebrow at Tyrone. You mentioned a citywide ritual upon gargoyles? I must admit, I'm curious about the mechanics of this spell. Professional, of course.
He sort of taps his nose. Family secret. And it will die with me.
I don't say it out loud, but in my mind, I could imagine it dying and being spent on me in a few ways. But outwardly, I nod politely. Fair enough.
I'm backing away. Is there like a railing or a wall?
I would say there's the roof is mostly flat, but there's like a brick perimeter that's like a step up.
Okay. Kind of crawling back on all fours onto the thing and still sort of staring at him. I haven't blinked since he started getting shirty with us. And just kind of sit there with wings flaring, waiting for everyone to get ready to leave because I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh, wait, before we go, excuse me, Mr. Baron?
Tyrone, don't give me all that fucking Mr. Yes, so, no feedback's full set. Tyrone.
Tyrone, would you be willing to maybe give us some more information about what we're walking in on here, what we might be seeing when we hit this place? It would be to your advantage because we'd be more likely to be successful if you help us.
He's got a point. You've got a point, Manny. He's got a point. But Tyrone, yeah, you've got a point. Right, Battersea Power Station. Mostly fucking derelict all year round, apart from like a couple of events or whatever. The thing's fucking falling apart. I don't know why they still keep the fucking shit thing open. My little sources tell me the freaking Cam Tremere performing some ritual. They're apparently going to bring back freaking Melinda or whatever. Melinda is like one of my ancestors, like fucking big bad bitch. Like, it's like you think I'm annoying, you think I'm terrifying, you think I can do weird fucking shit with weird words. Like, Melinda, crazy magical bitch, right? You don't want her back, right? I think they're going to bring her back, from what I've gathered. That, or they're having some weird fucking orgy there. That's not exactly a strange thing within my clan. Long story, but we won't get there. Yeah, it's weird magic ritual shit, basically. So go in there, stop that, kill Octavius, Purple Robe, bring it back. I imagine... Mandy, you said, what was it you were saying earlier about the perimeter? Yes, chances are that the building's surrounded. They'll probably be expecting company at the very least, people with our ilk. I don't know if they'd expect gargoyles from... No, they fucking wouldn't expect gargoyles, although, I mean, you fucking flying things, that's going to look a bit fucking weird. So yeah, expect some resistance, I guess. I mean, you're sort of shrugging, just, what do you want from me, sort of thing.
Numbers?
Inside, Octavius like groups of 4, him being the 5th. From what I remember. So yeah, I don't think there was that many. I mean a bit of a struggle, but I don't know how many are around the outside, though. Do you know, Mandy? Like, and she sort of shrugs. I'm afraid not, Ty. No.
As he describes what sounds like some sort of resurrection ritual, through blood magic that I've studied, would I be able to pinpoint exactly what they're attempting in there?
You can certainly make an attempt to work out with an intelligence and occult roll, but I would require a significant amount of successes.
I most certainly can try. God damn it, that's another 3 successes. But could I spend a willpower and re-roll some of those?
You absolutely may.
That would be another 4 successes.
So that's 7 in total.
Indeed.
Now, all of this stuff that he's going on about, like, this is sort of resurrection, it sounds very shady, secretive stuff, but nothing is truly secret within kindred circles. You have heard of something similar to this before from various different sources, but you've never been too sure how true it is, but this might cement how true it might have been. About 10 years ago, with this Operation Antigen stuff, there were many speculations and rumours that it involved Mithras, who for the longest time was the Ventru that ruled all of Britain, hundreds of years, or like pretty near 1,000. And there were some rumours and speculations that there were some followers of his who went to great lengths to try and bring him back from the dead, or put his soul in another body or something. And it kind of sounds what's going on here, that these 4 or 5 Tremere are trying to bring back a powerful vampire wizard.
It's dangerous, and it's going to require a lot of blood, whatever they're doing in there. So we are going to want to tread lightly and deal with this Octavius as quickly as possible.
Okay. We can do that. We can get in there and get out. I don't want to stay any longer than we have to, though.
Fucking fantastic. Fuck off, then. I want this done by the end of the night. Fuck this up and you ain't getting your factory. Go on. Piss off. Nah.
Iggy does not hesitate to leave. Iggy is just leaving as quickly as possible and just basically getting up in the air and gone.
I take slightly longer to just kind of stare him down, then turn and leave. And as my wings flap with the loud sound, there's just this muttered prick.
Cybele will give him a mocking bow, definitely met in a very polite, my baron, sort of way before she also takes wing.
And he returns a very pompous and like, ugh, pulls a face and a bow. It's like, piss off. So, you're all taking flight and flying towards Battersea. Are any of you using Unseen Passage, or are you just going in raw, as it were?
Unseen Passage for me.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not happy about it, but I'll do it.
Requires a rouse check from you both, I believe.
Alas, some of us do not have such powers of the blood.
So you're going ale natural.
Yeah, I'm facing the Tremere in my birthday suit.
Oh, ouch.
Spicy.
That's a failure. That's a bestial failure.
That's a failure for me, too.
So what hungers are you both now?
I'm at 2.
I'm at 3.
The beast pokes and nags a bit more. Iggy, you just feel it snarling and just tugging on that little cage inside, but it's not shouting at you just yet.
I'm keeping an eye out as we move for any, readily available food sources that could be snatched out of the air.
All right. We shall deal with that if you wish to do I'm going to say, a Dex and Athletics, please, as you're kind of soaring through, you're just going to grab anything that you can.
5 successes.
5 successes. Well, fortunately, Lady Luck smiles upon you because tonight is filled with plenty of pigeon. Not many a nocturnal pigeon. You're just able to grab and bite.
Birds falling out of the sky, just desiccated, drained. Some kind are going to be looking around tomorrow, finding these blood-drained birds and wondering what the hell happened.
Tell me it's chupacabra on the wing.
Is anybody else going to attempt to this fast food approach, or are you just focusing on getting to Battersea Power Station?
Nah, I ask for permission. It's hard to ask pigeons to consent.
I'm assuming the same with Cybele.
Certainly, I have a certain nunnery I can hit up after this. Maybe I'll take Pebble along with me. The sisters are more than eager to give their blood.
Would that be 1 hunger reduced for me?
Yes, I would say so, because I would say it's about a 45-minute flight, and you do see as you're getting closer towards it, because you know Battersea Power Station is a great big British landmark. You might remember the younger two, especially. Actually, wouldn't do. It's a big brownish maroon rectangular building with 4 cream chimneys that poke up. It's non-active anymore, as described earlier on. It's really used for the occasional event. And there seems to be quite a bit going on. There is some construction work, so there's sort of metal, these sort of construction frames around it, and there are places for you to perch on should you wish before you're able to enter the building.
Entering in on wing is going to draw attention, no matter how careful we are, so I will perch and stick to the shadows as I look for a point of entry.
Iggy will find one of the highest cranes or a set of scaffolding that they can to perch and survey the area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sticking relatively close to Cybele.
Mm-hmm. Will you be obfuscating yourself, or just...
If the unseen passage carries over, then yeah.
Same.
I will be generous and say that this counts as the same scene.
Okay.
So I would say yes. So now you're all perching on various bits. Are you all together, or is one group here and there's another group over there?
Iggy will take the opposite side of whichever spot Pebble and Cybele takes.
I will also be activating Skin of the Chameleon as I make landing.
So as you land on your various perches and you become one with a crane or some scaffolding somewhere, can all of you roll for me wits and investigation, Blaze?
That will be 3 successes for Iggy.
2 successes for Pebble.
3 successes for Cybele.
Right. You all do see that on the ground level there are some thugs or some sort of private military or something. There are some figures in some sort of reinforced armor sort of thing, and they've got rifles sort of patrolling around, looking about. You don't see anything else other than these individuals on the ground.
Keyword being is they're on the ground and they aren't looking up. And so long as we're quiet, they don't have any reason to look up.
Yeah, are there any rooftop service entrances or any kind of windows that are open or broken?
Require another wits and investigation. Anybody who wants to take this route to do this as well, roll wits and investigation also.
Alas, that is 1 success on the investigation roll. I'm not used to this.
2 for myself.
I'd like to activate Sense the Unseen to see if there's anything that is being hidden from us. That is 3 successes.
All right, we'll do the investigation stuff first. You see that one of the windows is shattered, and you'd be able to fly in, but it would make some noise. Whereas the investigation on the ground, you tap into the powers of your blood to open a part of your eye or your mind to see the area around you. And as you're sort of scouring the ground, kind of like you notice that a couple of figures do pop up, and they're standing against some walls of the main doors. These two great big doors of the power station. Like, they're pointing at each other, but I think that they're expecting somebody to casually walk through.
I will point this out to both Cybele and to Iggy.
Iggy probably wouldn't be able to hear since they're a further distance away.
Well, since I've still got unseen passage, I'll maybe fly over and give them a update.
And when you come over, Iggy points down towards the window and says very quietly, maybe go in there?
Could be noisy.
I'm small. I might be able to get through without it making too much noise.
Fair enough.
Right, I'll enter through there as well. I can be subtle when I try.
You know I'm the professional thief, right?
Certainly. Although I'm not doubting your abilities.
So, are you all going to be approaching this window?
Yes.
Who will be going in first, or are you all going to fly in, like, in a single row, like, do-do-do-do?
I think Iggy will try to, like, get in as quietly as possible first to slowly navigate their way through, maybe, like, quietly pick some glass out as best they can, be very, very stealthy about it, and open the way up for them to come through.
Sure. And would you be still obfuscated, or are you just going to...
They're going to keep an unseen passage up as long as they can, yes.
Sure. So,
Could I give them assistance?
Depends. How would you be willing to give assistance?
Given that I'm very good at knowing how to get into places I'm not meant to be, give them a couple of tips before they fly in. Basically suggests, like, what to look out for in terms of broken glass. And
You may, and I think that would require charisma and larceny, as it's kind of breaking an entry.
Yep, I've got a specialty in break-in.
Then add that to your dice pool.
Excellent.
And Iggy, could you roll for me? Could you just roll for me your intelligence just to see how much of the information that you're going to be taking in?
I've got 2 successes.
2 successes.
I would say whatever advice that Pebble would give to you, you would be able to retain, although you might forget a detail here and there.
Iggy is a little scatterbrained, bird-brained, actually, at times, so this would make sense. All right, so we'll approach the window and kind of try to quietly slip through.
Both obfuscated?
Indeed.
Who's going first?
I am.
All right. Could you roll for me Dex and Stealth, the pair of you? And Iggy, you can add 1 extra dice.
That would be 4 successes for Iggy to get through the window.
That would be 8 successes from Pebble.
8 successes. Well, you both pass through that bit of glass like butter, like not even touching the sides. Like Iggy sort of makes a move, and you make no, and you sort of direct Iggy through like last minute, and whoosh, you are in. Cybele, how do you wish to enter?
My children have been very careful in their entry, and I would want to follow suit. Admittedly, flight is going to be very noisy, but I am going to try to go about it quietly.
Right. But you do not have any powers to hide yourself, so to speak.
Alas, I do not.
That is a shame. Could you roll for me the same Dex and Stealth?
Once we're inside, can I check the window to see if there's any way to open it?
You may. So if
Would
you
doing so break my obfuscation?
Yes, because you would be touching something. I was just thinking about that. You do that, you would break your obfuscation.
Before I do that, I'm going to take a look around the room inside, kind of hold a finger out the window, or, well, they wouldn't see it, so. I won't. I'll take a look around the room, though, and see what I can see before I drop anything.
Sure, and I'll deal with that in just a moment. What did you get?
4 successes. Thank goodness.
4 successes. Your child, actual and adoptive child, managed to, well, hopefully, you assume that they got in because there was no hiccups or anything. But as you take flight, you're sort of halfway there, and you feel something hit your shoulder, and it sort of makes, you've been shot at, and you're sort of wobbling through the air, and you sort of begin to dip a little bit. Okay, could you take for me 4 points of superficial damage?
Can't do. I was so hopeful.
Iggy and Pebble, you hear this gunshot from above you. It's somewhat... I was going to say it's muffled, but then again, there's an open window, so... Well, open. There's a hole in the window that you heard that pretty loud and clear. And when you're in the room, there are some, as described to you, a group of 5, and a great big cauldron of sorts that's sort of bubbling away. And before that gunshot, they were just all sort of chanting loudly. And when that gunshot goes, they stop and they look up. Cybele, you do manage to get to the window, but you're not quite able to hit through the window. You sort of grabbing on to a bit of brickwork.
No, oh no.
I would like to lean out the window and kind of grab her by the scruff of the neck and pull her through. Oh. It's not going to be subtle, but...
Strength, please.
Okay. Just strength or just athletics?
Just strength.
While they're doing that, I'm going to kind of turn and watch the Tremere and see what moves they make now that they've heard this gunshot.
You're sort of watching these, look up, and it's like you just hear a voice that just sort of reverberates around this. Lord Octavius, carry on the ritual. Affirmative, and they all just start chanting like this weird Latin, like just sort of they carry on, but they pick up the pace from what they were doing a minute ago.
Speed running the ritual.
Speed run any percent the ritual, and you can sort of see that it begins to bubble even faster. Sort of things like large bubbles just sort of like pop out.
That's some horrid mac and cheese. I have 2 successes.
With great difficulty, which is no reflection on the weight here, you do manage to heave Cybele through this window, shattering glass as you do so.
We were doing so well.
Then Mom came and messed it all
up. Mom!
Iggy quickly moves away from the window, not because they don't care about getting Cybele in, but just because they don't want to be associated when somebody comes over and starts investigating.
Yeah.
Well,
of course, natural instinct.
Fortunately, you're quite high up, and with the chanting and with this bubbling going on, they don't seem to hear like the bits of glass that just sort of shatter. It's not like a massive crash; it's just like things that splinter off, and they don't seem to be paying that much attention.
That's very good.
I'm looking at the gunshot on Cybele, and are you all right? What happened?
Must have been spotted. Clumsiness on my part. Where are they? I hear chanting.
I point.
Is Octavius among them? As I'm looking for that obnoxious purple cloak that was described to me by the equally obnoxious Tremere.
You see the 4 Tremere in red, and you see the one in purple whose cloak, if it was more purple, then the Prince of State would sue them.
I need to disrupt this in some way that is not going to draw attention to us.
Iggy kind of moves in again towards the 2 of them, now that they're sure that they haven't been spotted too heavily, nobody's coming up to investigate, and kind of whispers, could fly down and grab it off his head.
That might work. I have another idea. I think I'm going to rouse his blood and drive him mad.
I like that.
That sounds pretty fucking cool.
With that being said, I'm going to make a rouse check and use Extinguish the Vita on Octavius. That's a failure on the rouse check for me.
And your hunger is at?
3.
Your beast snarls and pokes, and it feels a little impatient.
I'm stoking the blood of another. It wants its cut too. That is a critical success. 6 successes.
Wow. And so what was the hunger increasing, did you say? So I'm terrible at remembering the power rules.
His hunger increases by 2. So as he's in my gaze, I force his blood to curdle and weaken and make his beast growl.
It's a bit difficult to tell from that where you are, but you do see that there is like a shift in something. Two of them, I should have mentioned this earlier, they're all standing with their hands against each other, high up, forming a circle. And Octavius in purple sort of dips a little bit, and you see their bodies sort of turn, and just you sort of hear this snarl. It's like, "Oh Lord!" He's like, "Continue the ritual," and they continue this sort of their gibberish muttering. "Get the sacrifice!" He sort of shouts, and there's two bodies just coming with somebody ankles and wrists, sort of carrying somebody in, just sort of wriggling, thrusting, and screaming and shouting.
That sounds like a problem, and I don't want someone getting killed for some shitty blood ritual. I'd quite like to activate Unseen Passage and then attempt to crash tackle the poor sacrifice and just self-yeet, I guess.
Upon collision, it will deactivate.
Yeah, absolutely, but I'm hoping it'll cause some surprise.
Okay, so that would be a test.
A rouse check.
A rouse check for the Unseen Passage.
Yep.
And then a roll for Strength and Brawl, I guess, or Dex and Brawl, whichever is higher.
That's me at 3 hunger now. Good.
In this same moment that Pebble is going down to tackle the people carrying the sacrifices, I would like to take advantage of that same instant and go down and attempt to tackle our target and steal his cloak.
Okay. The same thing for you. Actually, that would be a Dex and Larceny, because you're going to attempt to literally just pull this thing off his head.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I also attempt to rouse the blood in the same turn, or would I need to do that separately?
As in, like, to
boost stats?
Yeah, I believe you can.
Okay. Then I will do that as well, and just see how that goes. Wow, that's me at 4 hunger, baby!
4, and you hear the beast snarl at you. "Don't waste your time saving. Look at the precious flesh and blood. Feed, tear, snatch them away."
I don't like that very much.
It doesn't matter what you like. It's what you need. It's what you want. Don't deny who you are.
Oh dear.
Oh God. Well, I think I know what's happening to the sacrifice in a minute, but we'll get to that when I get to that.
At least their sacrifice won't be in vain.
Yep.
It'll be for a good cause.
That is 4 successes.
4 successes. What did you get, Iggy, for?
Also 4 successes.
And Cybele, just because I haven't asked you what you're doing through all of this, what are you intending to do whilst they go and do that?
I could continue my ministrations and rouse his beast further. I think I'm going to make another rouse check and continue to extinguish
Wait, you're going to rouse his stuff while I'm in the middle of tackling him and I might get bitten?
I was hoping you would go for the other Tremere, and I trust that you are going to be able to fly away from him.
Unfortunately, Cybele's the only one with brain cells in this group.
I am, and I'm using them for evil, but let me make that rouse check.
We know who the favourite childer is now.
Okay, that is a success. My hunger does not rise any further, and I will roll 3 successes on my part.
He doesn't seem to be worse for wear, but he does seem very agitated, which isn't helped particularly much when, out of nowhere, a brief moment of nothingness does manage to pull the robe from him almost. It's starting to come off, but the chain of hands is all like, it's interrupted a little bit, and Octavius is knocked on the floor. Pebble, and you do manage to swoop in, and you're attempting to tackle out of the hands of these other people.
Yeah.
You manage to do so, and there's a very heavy thump onto the ground, and you recognize this person. It's Richard.
Fuck! I am apoplectic with rage, and I'm just going to try and, is there, an exit or a way to get out of here?
Could you roll for me wits and investigation? And I put a little difficulty to that because of your heightened rage sense.
That's fair. One success.
I mean, you came in through a partially shattered window.
I guess we're going that way then.
So you're going to take off and attempt to fly back out there?
Yeah.
As for the rest of the Tremere, whose hands have now detached, they see this 2 gargoyles have appeared. My lord, we will not... Don't kill them! Various elements appear from their hands. Some have fire, some have lightning bolts that come like elastic from their fingers, and somebody just draws a handgun and begins to point. Cybele, what are you doing?
As they launch themselves into action, I'm going to make myself scarce and activate Skin of the Chameleon and begin crawling away towards the windows as quickly as I can.
You're leaving your children to die.
I am not. I am trying to secure us an exit before we go.
You mean you flew in through the window?
I can't do that while dead. I need them to lose sight of me before I can help them. I'm not a bad mother. Don't look at me like that.
So are you heading back out the window, or...?
I am not. I am just breaking their line of sight by activating Skin of the Chameleon and crawling away from their general viewpoint from where I was casting my dark magics.
Okay. So various Tremere are going to launch things at you now. So rather than doing dice rolls for each of them, I'm just going to do one generalized roll to see how and what hits you.
Spicy.
Pebble and Iggy.
Ruh-roh.
Could you both roll for me Dex and Athletics? Pebble will have a difficulty as you're holding Richard. Iggy, as you're dodging this, am I going to assume correctly you're still holding on to this robe?
Yes, Iggy is still trying to wrestle it away. I was actually just checking the rules on what would probably affect that with the contested roll, since the contested roll for flight works the same as the contested roll for essence of air. So that would be my strength and, in this case, my protean versus the other strength and athletics.
I was up to 6 successes with the willpower roll.
1 success to wrestle the cloak away.
So are you attempting to take that instead of dodging, or is this as well as?
It's my priority to take the cloak, but if there is any kind of fire aimed in my direction, I will give priority to getting away from that. Bullets, I don't mind.
All right, I was just going to say, because you are able to grab and duck out the way if need be, if you're still holding on.
Yeah, if I can do that, then I would do that.
Sure, and you got 4 successes with that.
Yes, and for dodging initially, yes.
We'll deal with you first, Pebble. Despite having somebody in your hands, you, perhaps fueled by rage, you are able to dodge and move out the way, maybe slide or hide behind something. And by the skin of your rucksack, Iggy, you're unable to get the cloak off him, but it's beginning to tear a little bit. But as cracks of lightning hit and smack against the wall and fireballs just whoosh past you, you are able just to dodge and duck out of the way. And the one person with a gun is just doing a terrible job of just hitting both of you. We'll go back to you, Cybele.
Whatever ritual they're concocting, I need to disrupt it. My child, they're safe, they're handling themselves. But that cauldron is still bubbling. So I think I'm going to break my stealth. And with that freely flowing bloody wang I had from that unfortunate gunshot, I'm going to dive for where I am and drip my Vita in there. I know that thaumaturgical rituals are delicate, and if my rancid hybrid blood is enough to mix it up, it's failed, and we've stopped what they're doing here tonight.
That's an interesting way of dealing with things.
And at the very least, whatever comes out of it is tied to me.
Well, so how are you going to attempt to do this? Are you just going to saw, slit, and glide, or are you going to saw, glide, little cut, and just wait for it to drip, or what's this tactic here?
Oh, I'm going to soar, land, cut, and then get out of hell as soon as I can.
Okay, well, I won't make you do any rolls to that, because all the attention is currently on your childer. But the question is, but I have to be totally honest, I wasn't expecting this reaction, and I have no idea what's going to happen when you do this. So, odds or evens?
Let's go odds.
All right. So, I presume that you're just...
Let's just go!
You land, you glide and you land, and with haste, I'm presuming it's your gravelly wrist that you're doing.
Oh yes, the very same.
So you swoop and you land, and you slit your gravelly wrist, and you watch your vitae, your crimson red vitae, just drip into this cauldron. This very hot, bubbling thing. One of the Tremere in these red robes just turns and says, "No, don't!" But nothing happens. The blood turns to more. This big pool of blood turns into more of a greyish slush, and bones begin to appear and froth and leak over and just plop on the ground.
Uh-oh. Whatever it is, I ruined it.
Indeed. Who was next? Pebble.
Hello.
What are you going to do?
I'm trying to get the fuck out of Dodge with Richard. He wasn't meant to fucking be here. I don't even know why he's here. So I'm trying to head back out towards the windows. I want to steal their sacrifice.
Sure, so you're going to fly back up?
Yeah.
I
That's the goal.
will ask you to do a dex and athletics as there are still elements and bullets flying your way.
Yeah, that's fair.
Iggy, your intentions?
To take this goddamn cloak off this fucking wizard.
I wish to remind you that you was asked to kill him. It wasn't just the cloak back.
I mean, we were asked to kill him, but I mean, at the moment, the cloak is the most available thing, and I'm kind of panicking, so I'm just going to try to take the cloak. Or, wait, actually, better idea.
You're trying to strip a wizard.
I'm trying to strip a wizard, but actually, I had a better idea. Where is the cauldron in relation to where I am with him?
Just over 6 feet in front of you, I'd say. Maybe 7.5. You look forward and you see that your foster mother is sort of like dripping her blood into it, and this sort of greyish goo and skeleton bits just sort of froth out of this cauldron. Like a great big monster has just like thrown up the contents of the last 3 dinners onto the ground, and it just swarms everywhere.
Delicious. I'm sure that would not be a pleasant thing to take a bath in. And it might hurt a little bit if somebody did. So I'm going to try to, instead of pulling as he would expect, I'm going to instead try to bum rush and knock him forward. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to yell, "Cybele, help!" to get him into the cauldron if I can, or at least knock it onto him.
Let's cook this bitch!
Okay, so you're attempting to lift him up from the ground from when you knocked him over and carry him over into the cauldron.
Yeah, push him, carry him, whatever way I can to transport him into the contents of the cauldron.
Scrub-a-dub-dub, wizard in a tub.
Gotta love the classics. So could you roll for me, I guess, a strength and athletics?
I also got 10 successes on dodging with a messy critical.
2 successes.
2 successes. Octavius has kind of got the idea of what's happening now, and he has managed to, just by the skin of his teeth, break free from this thing, but you've torn off... Oh, I'm going to go for it. You've torn off the wizard sleeve, all right? Just from where you're holding on to him. But he's managed on his feet, and he's sort of wobbling as he stable himself. You, Pebble, are one with the wind, just sort of dodging the elements once more and bullets. Now... There's still people that are going to be shooting and firing stuff at you, Iggy. So if you could roll for me dex and athletics.
It'd be 2 successes.
I'm assuming that because they're all just really confused and hectic and like annoyed because this ritual has gone tits up, like just the shots are wilder and faster. The concentration is gone. They managed to fire in these elements and bullets, but none of them even close to hitting you now.
Excellent.
Could everybody here roll for me wits and awareness?
Oh boy, can do.
4 successes for Iggy.
4 successes for Cybele.
I'm going to pump another willpower into that. 2 successes.
2 successes. All 3 of you notice that there are, every so often, flashes of lights from these high up the windows. The two of you that scored 4 successes notice that at some point, 4 drones have entered the building and they're sort of circling around the area where you're all having this little fight.
Oh, fuck. Iggy sees drones and can only think one thing, and that's Second Inquisition, because he's seen that shit before and it did not go well last time. So, the panic is rising.
Can you roll for me your composure and resolve?
Yes. What a vast pool of dice that is.
Yeah, I can see.
2 successes, though.
You are very shaken and worried and frightened and terrified and panicked. We're going to die, we're going to die, we're going to die. But you're able to hold it together long enough not to go into some sort of frenzy, if only just.
That's good enough. As long as there's no frenzy, they'll be fine.
So what is the plan of action now?
Upon seeing these drones, and it looks like our job is about to be taken care of us for us. Because they're going to kill everything in here, and us included. We need to go now. And I say as much to my child. We need to go. Windows, now.
As you give that command, the whole room is suddenly filled with smoke, with a loud poof. Everything around you is just surrounded in a grey fog, and you hear shouting, mostly men, just like, kill all blanks, kill on sight, and bullets begin to fire everywhere. Can everybody roll for me, Dex and Athletics?
Am I still much higher up than everyone else at this point?
Yes. You would be able, thank you for reminding me, you would have seen people begin to swarm into the room, just similar to the armed individuals you saw outside, armed individuals with guns, and you just see this smog just appear in the center of the room, and they just stand there beginning to fire.
Okay. Then sort of still clutching Richard to my rocky body, I'm sort of making sure that both of my other new family are getting out safe from my sort of vantage point. And if it looks like they're in trouble, then I'll assist them. But for now, I'm staying up high.
For sure. And what did the other two actually get?
That is 2 successes on my part, but I'm going to burn a willpower because this moment requires high gear. And I'm going to increase that to 3 successes now.
3 successes.
3 successes. I'm assuming that in your attempt to dodge, you would be... how would you be attempting to dodge? You're going to fly up? You're going to roll? What's the idea?
Taking flight. That's not what they expect.
Yeah, though in my willing to do this, do I have like a grip on the sleeve I tore off of the wizard's robe?
If you still wish to hold it, you are still holding the wizard's sleeve.
Okay. I mean, that's good enough. It's not the whole robe, but it's something. So yeah, I'm just going to try to fly the hell out of here. Bat out of hell.
Cool. As you attempt to ascend, you are both struck by bullets. You've been hit by worse. I mean, Cybele, you were hit by a great big round from a sniper rifle and all, but you've still been shot with bullets and it still hurts. So could you both take for me 2 points of superficial damage?
Now is going to be a great time to spend a rouse and mend.
So as you both take flight, you just hear a couple of cries, Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck? Don't question it, shoot it! Yes, boss! Could the two of you make another Dex and Athletics roll, please?
Can do.
Is there anything that looks yeetable from my vantage point? Something that I could throw at people?
Odds or evens?
Evens.
Spicing up a little bit. Nothing that could cause a real amount of damage, like tiny pebbles that you could only hear if you just kicked it across the floor.
Okay, that's fine.
It's a messy goddamn crit.
That's 3 successes for my part.
Probably in their shock, because obviously these individuals didn't get the memo briefing on winged rock creatures. They're a bit more hasty with their shooting, and you managed to dodge those bullets, if only just. And I'm assuming that that the two of you are sending back once you came?
Indeed.
Of course, but that being said, I am making sure they are out before me. Mm-hmm. They are my children, and even if it means I am here dead, they are getting out before I do.
So for once, you're being a good mom.
Shots fired, and it wasn't the Second Inquisition.
Aggravated willpower damage.
I trust in your abilities. Yeah, let me take some willpower damage.
You do manage to get back up to this, the platform from which you came, and one of the drones is beginning to fly towards you, and it's just making a beep, 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 beep.
Don't like that. Could I use my smartphone as a projectile and just launch it at the thing?
You can.
I'm gonna do that and just try and get it away from me. That is another messy critical with 5 successes.
You managed to throw your smartphone and hit it into the center of this rectangular thing with a red blinking eye. It doesn't move. It doesn't knock it off. Of course, it sort of wobbles a little bit, but it's still beeping. If anything, the beeping's gotten faster.
Okay, well, let's leg it then.
Or win it, as you are leaving via window.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
I think this is called defenestration.
Yeah. Self-defenestration.
So this window, which is more basically just a square hole now at this point, you all managed to get through. But it's a lot more hectic now. There's a lot more gunfire, and you are greeted by a helicopter that is pointing a massive spotlight on you all as you leave. And I require you all once again to roll a Dex and Athletics.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Respectable 4 successes.
4 successes.
Okay, so still 3 successes. No change.
All of you, as you're climbing and flying out this window and just like beginning to gain momentum, all of you are shot at, but Pebble is the one that gets shot at the most. So could you, Cybele and Iggy, take 2 points of superficial damage? Sorry, 1 point of superficial damage and 2 points for Pebble. Cybele, how's that health tracker of yours looking?
I am officially full up on superficial damage, so this is not going the way I was hoping.
Mommy's taking a bit of a beating.
Mommy has taken a bit of a beating, and Mommy is going to die if she continues to take a beating.
So I take it just the idea is just to fly the fuck away?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fast as we can, like bats out of hell.
Sure, so this is basically going to be a very interesting chase sequence, because that helicopter is going to fly after you. But at the same time, it's not wanting to draw too much attention. So could all of you roll for me Dex and Athletics?
I've got a really dumb idea.
Go on.
I also had an idea.
As did I.
Are like the sides of the helicopter open?
Yes.
Cool. I want to just kind of careen my way through the middle of it and just knock everyone out of it if I can.
With a person in tow?
Yeah, it's not like I said, it's not a smart plan. I have 1 intelligence, head empty, no thoughts.
That's fair. You haven't even asked how Richard is at this point.
I don't know how Richard is. I think I'm in full like fight or flight, but it's kind of both. It's both fight and flight.
Okay. Iggy, what was your dumb idea?
My dumb idea was actually the complete opposite of that. My dumb idea was let's scoop down really low and hide a little bit so we can obfuscate and then go back out into the public where they won't be able to see us anymore.
That's not a dumb idea. That's a smart idea.
But Cybele can't obfuscate like that, so it wouldn't really help her very much.
Yeah, there is a big spotlight pointed at you as a reminder, so that might be a bit difficult.
Chameleon. So my dumb idea was that I was going to put myself in front of the window of the helicopter and make them crash.
Okay, so varying Dex and Athletics rolls here. So please make those rolls. And I don't even know what to roll for this, so I'm just going to see what the fuck happens.
I have a messy critical with 6 successes.
I have 2 successes, but I'm going to burn a willpower on
success.
That is 5 successes. A messy critical.
That is 1 success for me.
Oh no.
Right. This is what happens. Various interesting things happen. Pebble, with body in tow, just sort of, you saw through and these bullets sort of shoot at you. Somehow they don't hit you, but they do hit Richard. But you are able to take them all out, and they just go flying through the other side, screaming bullets, hellstorm just going up. Cybele, you do manage to latch onto the window. What is it that you're intending to do here? Just holding on to pull it down, or?
Make it freak out the pilot and obscure their point of view so they don't see where my child are going.
You do manage to do that because as you land and sort of claw onto this window, you perhaps throw a bit too much strength. For you actually go through the glass and you're sort of onto the person, and it begins to soar down just as after Pebble manages to soar through. And in the confusion of all of this helicopter begins to dive and twirl. Iggy, you are just, by the sheer dumb luck of all this madness that's happening, do manage to fly out of the way in whichever direction that you're going.
Excellent. I'm not sure at this point it's even necessary, but I'm still going to obfuscate because I'm a paranoid motherfucker.
That's fair. Which, it will be unseen passage, right?
Yes. I need a rouse check.
Yes.
I'm all right. I'm not hungrier.
Your paranoia is able to overrule the might of the beast for a change. Now, Cybele, you are beginning to drag this helicopter down unintentionally. For latching through, you've pulled on some controls, things begin to spark, and it's now beginning to literally twirl and dive bomb into the ground. Now, in order to get away from this, I'm going to ask you to roll for me, once again, Dex and Athletics, to see not only that you're able to get away in time, that you don't get completely buggered up and sliced by the spinning blade on top.
Can do. Here's hoping it goes well, guys. That is one success, but I'm going to burn. I'm down to 1 willpower now. I'm going to burn that willpower. 2 successes now.
2 successes. Well, the good news is you do manage to get away but you do get a series of horrible cuts up your arm from that blade. So that will be, I would say, 3 superficial.
That takes me up to 3 aggravated damage now. We are not looking good.
You are not looking good, as nice as you're beginning to feel the turmoils of tonight. But, as I said, you managed to get away, and that helicopter just hits the ground, and there was a massive explosion. The side of Battersea Power Station is sort of charred by this explosion as things begin to fire everywhere. There is a gunfight of some description happening on the other side, but it appears that you are safe for now.
Let's leg it, wing it, get the hell out of here.
Sort of with this sort of rush of glee of we managed to get the people out there, and we've managed to get out scot-free, and I just kind of go, Richard, we're out, we're free, and then I look down. No!
When you look down on Richard, he's been shot on the arm.
Right.
From when you flew in, so he seems to be in pain from some of the faces he's pulling, but he seems more out of it, like something has happened to him. So he's not really aware of anything that's going on. It's just, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Fuck. Hold on, buddy. I'll get you some help. And I try and fly as fast as I can to catch up with Cybele.
I presume that you are able to do so quite easily, because Mama Gargoyle ain't flying too good.
She isn't. She is definitely a bit cut up, but everyone's flying. I got the family out. That's what matters. I'm older. I'm stronger. They're my responsibility.
I assume, Iggy, that you're following Sweet.
Iggy is following, indeed, basically keeping an eye on them and making sure they stay in the sky, and also glancing behind them to make sure that nobody comes after them.
What's an investigation, please?
They have a second helicopter. I'm just going to throw myself into it.
A literal cannonball.
That's 1 success.
You think that you're not being followed. You think that most of the stuff that's happening is happening down on ground level.
But I'm also paranoid, so I probably also have some voice in my head saying, they're going to find you, they're going to track you, they put a tracker on you somewhere, you need to get out of here, go, go, go.
You have an Apple AirTag on your wing.
Exactly.
I mean, the UK government's been taking cuts to all of the policing forces, so obviously...
They can't afford Apple products.
All right, that's a good point. So where's the plan now? Are you all heading back to Baron Tyrone, or are you just fucking off?
I mean, I'm kind of over the wind trying to shout, Richard's hurt, but he seems not here. I don't know what's happened to him.
He's been shot. Drop him off in front of the hospital.
If there is a place that looks suitable, I guess I will do so.
Could you roll for me a wits and awareness again? Sorry, wits and investigation, sorry.
3 successes, surprisingly.
3 successes, despite in this constant jumble of emotions. You do know the area enough that there isn't a hospital that you could hand to. The rooftops don't seem stable enough. They're just like triangular. The only thing that you can think of as you're flying over is just to take them back to that flat roof of the Wonky Donkey.
I can't. I'm not bringing him anywhere near that fucker. Do I know, like, has anyone explained to me what kindred blood can do to people? Like, do I know that it makes people stronger?
Cybele would have explained. She is definitely about their clan's history, how we came about, and the risks of the blood bond. The blood bond is dangerous. It is powerful. Use it sparingly.
I think in this moment I'm desperate enough that I will feed Richard some of my blood. And I don't have a phone anymore, so I can't text the rest of the crew. I am panicking, trying to find a hospital, and when I realize that the best solution is the Wonky Donkey, I am just going, no, I am not taking him anywhere near that fuckwit. So I'm finding like an alleyway, and I'm going to feed Richard some of my blood. Sure.
Do the other two land when this happens, or are you just continuing to fly?
Yes.
Yes, I could certainly use the rest.
You both all three of you land not too far away, because you feel that you've gotten further away now, that if you were going to be hit, you would have been done so by now. That music is still going on. You don't know how much time has gone, obviously, but... So, Richard is still out of it, but he seems to be coming through a bit more now. He's acknowledging that there's more pain, just sort of murring and ahhing a bit more.
You're gonna be okay, buddy. And I bite into my wrist and drip it into his mouth.
You are able to expel some of your vitae to Richard, who his mouth is sort of open, like a drop hits on his lip, but things do manage to go in. And you are kind of drawn, that precious vitae, that sweet, delicious, good shit. And your friend, you don't want him to be hurt, but that good shit. So, how long do you intend to be doing this for?
I think once I start feeling the hunger bubbling up, I kind of recoil in this sort of fear because I'm really scared of hurting him further.
When you notice that he's beginning to come through a bit more, he's actually opening his eyes now a little, you are able to, even with some reluctance, to pull away and lick the wound close. Ugh. Fuck. Pebble? That you?
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, a bit fucking weird. Had something nasty to drink.
Yeah.
I feel good. Where the has Richard met the other two before?
I'm not sure that he has.
You didn't bring a boy home to mom?
I didn't bring a boy home to mom. You know that Pebble goes out occasionally, and they do spend a lot of time on their smartphone.
Of course, kids and their phones.
Yeah, kids and their phones. But I'm not sure that they brought them back to the abandoned factory.
Well, Iggy is still obfuscated, so Iggy is not actually like there.
I'm just standing here proudly. You did what you had to.
In a sort of half-day state, sort of looking around, coming through a bit more, the effect of the vitae working its magic, so to speak. He sees you, Cybele, in all of your small, stony, injured glory. He seems... If he's shocked, you're not able to tell, because, he does not look with it still, but he doesn't seem too repulsed or frightened.
Pebble, you did what you had to. I understand that regret can come from these things, but you did what you must, and I put a small stony hand on their shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to get back.
Oi, oi! Hello there, cousins! What are you doing down there?
We'll be back in a minute. We've got a tosser to go see.
Yeah, go get him, Febs. He sort of very weakly just, knuckles your arm a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. And with a tired sigh, I will... In fact, I'll turn to Cybele and sort of see if she needs sort of carried up.
She's going to try and flap her wings and expel some kind of strength, but eventually she's just going to let herself be carried up by her child there.
So,
oh, that's so sweet.
Are you going to plop Richard down, or are you taking him with you?
I'm leaving him in the alleyway because I do not want the Tremere knowing his face.
So the assumption being that Iggy will be looking after.
Hopefully.
Iggy, though, is going to drop the purple sleeve kind of in front of Pebble and Cybele so they can pick it up. But they're going to stay obfuscated and kind of watch over Richard.
I nod to you and snatch up the sleeve in one hand and Cybele in the other.
So slowly, perhaps hesitantly, you ascend back up, and you see Tyrone is sitting where he was before. There's a table. He sort of rubs his nose a little bit. Hey, hold on. When there three of you earlier on.
Yeah, they're around. They're making sure we're not being tailed.
He sort of pulls a face and blinks a little bit. Tailed? And he stands up. Last I fucking recall, I asked you to get rid of the lot. Why'd you be tailed?
The fucking Second Inquisition followed us there.
All right. Well, what the fuck are you doing here then? Piss off. We'll talk DX later.
I fling the sleeve at him and start flying.
Thank you for tuning in to this actual play. We at Lord by Night Productions hope you enjoyed yourselves as much as we did playing and recording it. You have listened to Turn to Stone, an all-Gargoyle Vampire the Masquerade Oneshot using 5th edition rules, and the V5 Gargoyles Homebrew by Tyler Rose. Our stunning cast for this episode were Abby as Cybele of Clan Gargoyle, Tyler Rose as Igneous of Clan Gargoyle, Faye as Pebble of Clan Gargoyle, and the Lore by Night podcast guy as your storyteller and NPCs. You can support the beautiful cast by following them on their various social media pages. Abby can be found at Nuffofabby, one word, on Twitter. Faye can be found at TheHatIsHere on Twitter and Instagram, and Tyler Rose can be found at Tyler Rose RPG on Twitter and the unofficial Clan Gargoyle Twitter page. You can also purchase the homebrew used for this session, the V5 Gargoyles, on the Storyteller's Vault to use in your sessions of Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. And to be kept updated on all things Lore by Night, follow the Lore by Night VTM Twitter and Instagram pages to find out when we will upload each episode. You can also find out by subscribing to the YouTube channel and clicking on the little bell, as you'll be immediately notified when the latest episode is live. Until next time, farewell.